So before I jump into the content, before I start talking about this interesting scenarios which I prepared for you guys in this video, please do me a favor and destroy that like button, and to those individuals watching this for the first time, to hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much. Now first thing first, let's look at this price action here in a smaller time frame, because in a smaller time frame Bitcoin is being trapped inside this trend line. Upper trend line here is acting as resistance, lower trend line is acting as a support. So what does this mean? Bitcoin is forming a symmetrical triangle formation, and according to this symmetrical triangle, you can see the bias is neutral. It could be bullish, it could be bearish. So if we want to see a bullish continuation like this playing out, what must the price in the medium short term do? The price of Bitcoin in the medium short term must overcome the resistance around this upper trend line, which will be somewhere around $110,000. Yes guys, if the price of Bitcoin in the medium short term flips this resistance into support, we are expecting this symmetrical triangle to favor the longs, and Bitcoin after that could be continuing with the new uptrend. But let's suppose price fails to continue this uptrend. I mean, price of Bitcoin fails to break out of this 110,000 resistance and start with a continuation which might look somehow like this. What in that case? In that case, we are aware Bitcoin could be coming back for a retest, which could be somewhere around 106,000 here in the medium short term. But we know this trend line will be definitely acting as a strong line of support, which could be turning the price like this, a false break to the downside, liquidating the over leverage longs, and after that a U-shape or a V-shape type of recovery, because we are aware it's not just only the lower trend line from this symmetrical triangle holding us in a smaller time frame. If you simply zoom out, right, you can see Bitcoin in a 4-hour time frame is also doing its absolute best to remain above this rising trend line, which in the past price action resulted in a very bullish move. Yes guys, each and every time whenever the price of Bitcoin has tested the support from this rising trend line, it has resulted in a very bullish move. Higher highs, higher lows type of continuation. So if you look in our case, we are holding the support, the last line of support from this rising trend line. So please be careful. If the price fails to break out of this 110,000 resistance and start showing a reversal like this, in that case we will be breaking out from this rising trend line as well and heading towards 106,000 in the medium short term. But we know a pullback around 106,000 doesn't mean we are bearish. I have shown you with so many different examples. In a bigger picture, pullback during this kind of uptrend could be a buying opportunity. But for us in the medium short term, I personally think Bitcoin could show some weakness. The reason is simple. Bitcoin officially has also broken the support from this key trend line. I mean, according to our leading indicator, you can see this R2 line rejected us twice. That means the same trend line in the medium short term will be acting as resistance again around 110,000. That's why I showed you with this example. Only if we break above 110,000, we know this will be a bullish symmetrical triangle. Otherwise, we are expecting a continuation like this to play out, because we know once the price loses the support or fails to regain its trend above this R2 line, there is a very high possibility of price showing a move in this manner, heading towards 105, 106 and even lower. But for now, we just need to hold this trend line, because beside the resistance from this R2 line, we are also aware Bitcoin is facing resistance from this rising wedge, which is a bearish continuation pattern. Yes guys, this is also in a smaller time frame. So what I'm trying to pinpoint is that upper trend line was rejecting us, lower trend line was holding us. But in our case, if you look at this formation carefully, we are clearly below this support trend line, and the same support trend line could be acting as resistance. So what I'm trying to pinpoint is that if the price of Bitcoin in the medium short term fails to regain its trend above 110,000, fails to find support over this R2 line, fails to hold the rising trend line support, and even fails to break out of this upper trend line again around 110,000, in that case we must prepare ourselves for a continuation which might look somehow like this. Bitcoin heading towards 105, 106,000 before deciding a direction. But I personally think since the price of Bitcoin has a very strong support above 90,000, any sort of a pullback will be just a temporary pullback or a buying opportunity, because in a bigger picture, a pullback around 106, 105,000, you can see it could make sense, because we know this horizontal trend line, you can see, which was around 105, 106,000 previously, rejected us. So same trend line could be retested, and retest doesn't mean we are bearish. So this could be just a temporary exhaustion before we start with an continuation like this. So that's why, guys, that's why pullback around 105, 106,000, that does not mean we are bearish. That could be just a temporary pullback before continuing with this uptrend, because if you look at the price action using another bullish continuation pattern, right angle descending broad new edge in the medium short term, I showed you this is in hourly time frame. Bitcoin might come for a retest around 105, 106,000, but in a bigger picture, 105, 106,000 is the previous resistance area, which could be retested, but this retest does not mean we are bearish. That's why, right? That's why a pullback in a bigger picture, a pullback in a daily time frame around 105, 106,000 does not mean we are bearish. Only if we break below that range, then we have to be careful, because Bitcoin in that case could be coming for a free fall towards 90 to 95,000 range. Yes, guys, if the price in the medium short term fails to hold this ground around 105, 106,000, I personally think 90, 95,000 could be attracting us, because that is the area where we previously found support, from where we started a new impulsive move like this. I mean, in a bigger picture, this is in a weekly time frame, you can see a pullback around this rising trend line resulted in a very, very bullish move. So if we fail to hold this ground around 100, 506,000, Bitcoin free falling towards 90, 95,000, please do not panic. That could be just a temporary pullback, even in a bigger picture, which could be resulting in a continuation in this manner. I mean, with a false break towards this lower trend line and then following the original direction, because we know breaking out of previous high, flipping that into support usually gives us a buying opportunity according to Livermore pivotal point theory. So in our case, just like what happened here, after breaking the previous high, we might see more sideways movement, Bitcoin showing ups and downs, but we know that is absolutely normal. I mean, yes, breaking out of previous high, but remaining above that range means this pullback will be just a temporary pullback. So if we manage to remain above this previous high, right, this could be a preparation for a new move, which might look somehow like this, a small exhaustion, right, before starting with an actual continuation, because according to Livermore pivotal point theory, you know, breaking the previous high, flipping that into support will give us a buying opportunity. So even if the price in the medium short term starts showing weakness, gets attracted towards this support line or the basis line from this Bollinger Band, I just want you guys to be aware, we have extremely important support line for Bitcoin. So any sort of a pullback in a bigger picture, you can see this trend lines will be holding us. Not just only the Bollinger Band, even this Williams Alligator indicator will be holding us, which could be just a temporary pullback and a continuation like this after that, because we know if we look at this liquidation heat map for Bitcoin in a 24-hour time frame, you can see, yes, we have small liquidity clusters around 110, 111,000, but I personally think, looking at this price action, if Bitcoin gets attracted around 105, 106,000, in that case, a pullback could be just a temporary pullback, because in a weekly time frame, you can see we have huge liquidity clusters above $111,000, which will break the resistance which I just showed you. I mean, resistance from this symmetrical triangle will be broken, which will also break the resistance from this R2 line, and price after that could be heading towards the next price objective. And according to this month CPR, our best case scenario, our bullish target sits around $123,000. Yes, guys, if we manage to flip this 110,000 into proper support, I think R3 line also could be tested. So what I'm trying to say here is that even if the price in the medium short term starts showing weakness, please do not panic. Simply zoom out, because in a bigger picture, Bitcoin looks like preparing itself for another continuation, a blow off top type of movement, which is going to be very, very bullish. So this were some of the quick update that I wanted to share with you in this video. If you enjoyed my work, then please do not hesitate to destroy that like button, and to those individuals watching this for the first time, to hit that subscribe button. And by saying this, I'm signing out until next time. Bye bye.